It is Friday, the 23rd day of April 2010. Everyone who exposed the swine flu H1N1 hysteria as a fraud has been vindicated in spades, in triplicate. It is now all over the mainstream media, Wall Street Journal, you name it, that the whole thing was a fraud, that the big pharma companies paid off the European Union, the U.S. government, the British government, the Canadian government to lie and say it was deadly and that the vaccine itself is dangerous. So in 2 hours, we have Dr. Russell Blaylock, top brain surgeon. He's invented many of the most popularly or most commonly used brain surgeries out there. Exposes how they're putting toxins in the food by design. And he's also created a compendium of those government documents. And there's a new EPA report out where they admit that they're allowing hundreds of toxic chemicals to be put in the water on purpose. So we're going to have him on about that and the whole flu situation in hindsight ahead of the next PSYOP that they launch. Also, cities all over the United States simultaneously yesterday, including the town where I live, passed taxes, roughly doubling the taxes overall, not just energy taxes, but this dwarfs all taxes combined. And they're openly all over the news calling for one-child policy in the U.S. And I mentioned this yesterday, but I want to go over it today. Austin Renewable Energy Plan sails easily through council on Earth Day last night. Unanimous vote. And we have caught the head of elections in Travis County, and it's even been in the Statesman, that we basically don't have elections here. And that's why this is going on. That's why it doesn't matter how many people are angry or what happens. Even a state board has admitted that Capital Metro, the bus agency, just steals hundreds of millions of dollars and no one knows where it goes and they won't say. And this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Because the people know the government's corrupt and out of control, but they have no idea how bad it really is. And the criminals have had decades to move into every position of power, and they have handbooks on how they run their scams and how they deceive people and how they distract. And when I say the sky's the limit, I mean it is the limit. The tyranny that is now going to come to full fruition in the Western world is going to dwarf anything ever seen in human history. And I don't say that lightly. So we'll go over that. Also, the latest takeover of the economy through the value-added financial tax, the environmental value-added taxes, all of it. So we'll be breaking that down today. Greece welcomes its new IMF overlords with day of rioting and national strikes. That's from Mark Faber, top financial analyst. And Mr. Black, one of the top former federal regulators, gave testimony earlier in the week before Congress. And I'm going to play it later. And he just said, look, I've been here all day hearing other testimony. He said, no one's talking about the real issue. All of these brokerage firms and big banks are completely criminal and know they're criminal. And this is designed to destroy the economy, and this will destroy everything and consolidate power for them. This is a criminal takeover. And the chairman of the committee, for the last 2 minutes of his testimony, starts banging the gavel, tapping it to distract what he's saying, a new tactic we've seen the last few years from these people. And watching Mr. Black, Professor Black, who, by the way, is in Fall of the Republic, it just brings it home even more that anybody who's clear thinking looks at this and understands it's a worldwide kleptocracy, or a government run by criminals, thieves, kleptomaniacs. And they enjoy it. They have fun doing it. They compete with each other for who can twist things the best, who can lie the best, who can kill the most people. And because America had so much liberty, it produced more wealth than the entire world combined in the last 80 years. And we've gone from the richest to now the most in debt, and it's accelerating rapidly. Because the average American has had it so good. I mean, even if you're poor in this country, you've got it a lot better than people. 15 million children starve to death, the UN's own numbers a year. Another 10 million adults, so 25 million people starve to death. So even our poor have had it the best. But the system is designed to make us all poor and all dependent. And so because we've had it so good and had so much entertainment and so much bread and circus, fundamentally people can't take things seriously. And that's what Professor Black was saying. He says, don't you understand? It's all over. The world is going into a global depression, and it's not going to stop, and nothing has been fixed. In fact, it's getting worse. And that's exactly what's going on every other front. And those of us that are continually upset and are trying to do something about this, we're the people that have good instincts. I mean, as a man, I'm supposed to not be able to sleep when we have absolute 100% incontrovertible proof that the federal government, involved with other foreign intelligence agencies and private merc groups, carried out 9/11. And to even say that, I mean, I could spend 500 hours and never exhaust all the evidence. It's ridiculous on every front. 100% inside job. 100%. We've got government planning documents. We've got every facet of the attacks being a complete lie. Then when you find out what really happened, 100%. I mean, how can any of you even sleep? Oh, you choose not to believe it. You choose not to look into what I'm saying. You choose to not believe that the global warming fraud is a complete takeover of society. You choose to not believe that sodium fluoride is a sterilant and a cancer-causing agent of the highest magnitude. You choose to believe everything's going to be all right in the economy. You choose to believe Iraq had WMDs. You choose willfully to be fools. Willful idiocy. And I'm not talking to our regular listeners. I'm talking to the tens of thousands of new listeners that tune across the AM and FM, XM dial, shortwave dial, internet dial. I mean, this is so intense and so real for me because I've lived research for 16 years and on air for almost 15. This knowledge is so overwhelming that more and more I'm not even sure if I can continue, ladies and gentlemen. But then I know I can't stop either because I can't get it out of my head. I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop learning. I can't stop developing a clearer and clearer picture of who runs the planet. I mean, if you knew what I knew, okay, if you would have done the research, I'm not even that smart, if you would have gone out and studied history and learned the tricks of elites and learned what they're currently doing, you would be horrified. You would have chills through your body. I've got chills right now. You think I want to go on air and say 9/11's an inside job? You think I like doing that 8.5 years ago? You think it's fun? You think I just get up here and say this stuff for attention? Heaven help us. Heaven help us. Why have I been able to say the things I say? Why have I been able to get on so many AM and FM stations? Why have I been able to do this? Because no matter how wild the things I talk about are, truth is wild. Truth is stranger than fiction. The world's a crazy place. History is out of control and dangerous and amazing and beautiful and ugly and everything in between.